This is the story of how I got this mark right here, and it looks a hell of a lot better than it did beforehand, thanks to it healing. But for a while now, it kind of started back. We can take it back to seventh grade when I went from wearing like these horrible leather Crocs to school every day, and eventually, like all the kids were getting into sneakers. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get myself a pair of sneakers. So I went out and I bought these Nike Free Runs, and ever since then I fell in love with them. And like, I like the shoe so much. I like the netting in it. Like, it's literally super breathable, and it has a wide toe box, which is great for my feet. But ever since then, this is like the only shoe I've worn. And when this pair falls apart, and it falls apart in a very certain way, well, I'll just go out and eBay, or I'll find them somewhere else, buy the exact same size, exact same pair. And this has gone on for like, I don't know, I think I had like 4 or 5 pairs, but I don't actually wind up throwing away the old pair. What happens to it is like, it becomes like I have different levels of crappiness for my shoes, and I'll keep them all. But it's like, this pair of shoes is for painting. This pair of shoes is for running. This one's for like if I have a job interview. Yes, I go to job interviews in sneakers. They're really comfy. Or funerals, weddings I've been to. But I mean, my nicest pair is for that. I have my pair I might wear like if it's raining out, and I'll have a pair I'll wear if it's like I'm doing gardening. And I'll have a pair I'll wear if I'm doing like construction work or like painting. I have like different tiers, and it's kind of like I do the same thing with clothing. Is I have my nice clothing that I wear and that I like to wear, and then I have clothing for just lounging around the house. And one thing I've been doing recently is wearing my nice clothing to just lounge around the house, because appearances matter for your friends and your families and for everyone. Because if you look more put together, if you look better, people will treat you such, and you also feel better about yourself because you're investing time into yourself. But besides that, and then I have my synthetic shirts and stuff that I'll wear when I'm at the gym. And then below that is like camping clothes, because you better believe I'm gonna be like climbing trees. I'm gonna be just running around, having fun, and I don't want to pay attention to my clothes getting dirty at all. And then the step below that is painting and wrestling clothes, because sometimes like even though you wash them right after, sometimes they smell, and that smell just doesn't come out, and you have to like soak them in vinegar and other stuff. Because I smell amazing. It's the other kids. Anyways, it seems to be true for the most part. When I wrestle with my brother in the basement, we have a mat down there. The clothes don't smell nearly as nasty as they do when we wrestle with other kids at the club. But anyways, back to the shoe. So right here, this is one of the areas it kind of usually fails at. It'll split. And then the other thing that happens is this tongue will completely, the sides of it will completely tear off. Then I think one of my shoes somehow also got like a little gash to the side, so it opened up a little bit. But I was using my least nice pair as my longboarding shoes, because I'm like, in order to break when longboarding, you have to drag your shoe across the bottom. And I mean, these aren't my, I tossed out that pair, but I don't want to like ruin the bottom of my shoes and just prematurely wear them so I can't use them for running anymore. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use my worst pair. But because it was my worst pair, one of the things on the laces, like right here, it had a hole in it. And even though I tied them before I went out, they came undone while I was longboarding. And the lace on what was not this exact shoe, but my left shoe came all the way undone and somehow made its way under the front wheel of my longboard, just launching me off. And literally, went from standing up on my longboard, just going, and the next moment, I'm just right here, landing like that on my hip and stuff. My shirt actually survived because it was a pretty nice shirt, but where I hit, like this, just huge. This was no skin. I had to take the past like 9 days off of jiu-jitsu and wrestling because I didn't want it to get infected due to how deep it was. But took a nice chunk out of there, a little bit out of my knee, and it wasn't like road rash. It was literally the friction from my shirt, just like bam. And I thought like when I took my shirt off after seeing it, it was very faint, but like you could just see the skin left on the inside of the shirt, and I was like, ew. But what this got me thinking is like you can't like my whole system for like not really tossing out, because the reason why I set this system is I've had nice shirts that have gone all the way down to crap shirts because I accidentally got paint on them, and or like I stained them somehow and now I can't get that stain out even though I try and I go through all the staining. Part of owning nice clothing is being really good at getting stains out. So I have like some different bars of soap and some different things for different stains. I'm actually quite good at it, but I wasn't able to get these stains out, and it just kind of ruins your clothing. And you look at it, you're like, it's like 40, $50, man. That sucks. Like, your nice shirt is now just a painting shirt. And I'm like, okay. So I set this whole system up, and then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can apply it to my shoes too. And what you don't necessarily translate is with clothing, you're not really risking anything wearing clothing that's in worse, what we would consider worse condition, because that worse condition isn't really like holes or falling apart, it's like stained. But with my shoes, when I made the transfer, because I'm like, oh, it's the same thing. I have my clothing system, I'm going to transfer that same system to my shoes, and that way I'm not going to accidentally ruin my shoes and turn a nice pair into a bad pair, and I'll have a pair for painting, a pair for this, and a pair for that. I completely forgot that, like, it only works because when clothing gets bad, it gets stained. My shoes, on the other hand, were actually like falling apart. So I never thought of that. I never thought like, maybe it's not smart to wear shoes that are falling apart. Because I think there's one other time during the summer, I was coming down off the ladder and no, that was wearing flip-flops, I think. I was coming down off the ladder in flip-flops, and like, if my foot was on top of the flip-flop, it got caught on the rung, like, in the gap between the two, and I fell backwards and was luckily able to, like, hop on one leg somehow and not hit my head. I have really no idea how the hell that whole situation went down, but I remember hopping a lot on one leg and not getting injured and just thinking, thank God, like, thank God I somehow managed to get out of that one. And that taught me the appropriate, like, wear proper clothing while doing stuff. Because beforehand I was like, oh, it's comfy. Like, no, you need to, like, wear proper clothing when you're doing stuff, which is why I wasn't longboarding my flip-flops and why I was longboarding in my sneakers instead. But what I remember was, like, once it loses its utility, like once it no longer securely holds your foot and stays together, like your frugality can wind up harming you. Because, yeah, the sneaker wasn't just a little stained, it was like actually falling apart. Yeah, I thought the same principles applied to the clothing. So, I don't know. This video is a reminder to, next time you're considering being very frugal, consider both the positive and the negative. Because I didn't do that. I don't think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people only look at like the positive of saving money on doing this. They don't ever look at the downside of, maybe if I spent a little bit more money, I could get something that was nicer. I could get something that's higher quality. I could get something that I could repair myself. And I know that's 100% the case for furniture. Like, you buy crappy furniture. I have a friend who, it's a pretty crappy couch. You can't take the covers off the couch and wash them independently. It's like, there's no zipper on it. So in order to clean it, they have to rent like one of those rug doctors and use the extendable arm on it. And I'm like, I was looking at that because I recently cleaned my couch, and I was like, huh, like quality does matter. And that couch that I cleaned, it's so old that it started falling apart. Like, well, not falling apart, just going like getting in pretty bad condition like 7 years ago, and we just had the whole thing reupholstered and literally looked brand new. Because when you spend the money to get something that's nice, you can do that and you can take care of your stuff, which I don't know, is rewarding in upon itself. So yeah, peace out.